this as well. Get started.
On today's Author Spotlight, we feature a book designed to help reveal to you the blueprint for becoming the architect of your own life. The book was written by author Favour Onabanjo and is titled Driving Your Success, Be Your Own Life Architect. The book explains that life is what we make of it, and a sense of fulfillment comes to us when we live deeply and meaningfully. However, that can often feel difficult to achieve, but along with the tips and practical illustrations in this book, you can discover your life's purpose, pursue your dreams, and be successful. If you are ready to make a transformational shift in your life, grab your copy of Driving Your Success, Be Your Own Life Architect by Favour Onabanjo today at drivingyoursuccess.me or on Amazon.
Awesome.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Oh,
no worries. Thank you, Favour, first of all, for inviting us to this wonderful book launch. And I just want to just run through quickly what the agenda is just for everybody. I obviously am doing the initial bit here. If you got any questions, please drop them in the chat, and I'm sure Favour would be very happy to answer it. I'm hoping that she doesn't direct anything to any of us, the guest speakers as well, to say, because she's got all the knowledge anyway. Then I'll invite Favour to give a short message to the audience. I probably would throw her one or two questions. By the way, my name is Rexford Sam, and she's asked me to be the facilitator for this particular session. And then we would invite first guest to say something, and I would have the second guest and then the third guest. You are all guests, but we're talking about guest speakers, and we all have had some kind of a contact with Favour and excited about what she's doing. And then we'll open it up for questions and answers. So please, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the chat. So that we can also, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, just drop the questions there and then they'll be picked up as well. But we know she left the best for the last. There's a premium book offer, exciting bit, so get ready for that. And then it's a prize draw as well, prize draw. So you could be that lucky winner or lucky winners, because I realize it's not just one thing, lucky winners of the prizes that Favour has put together. So Favour, thank you for doing that. And just in case you missed part of it when you join, we also have another session coming up afterwards. So without much ado, Favour, I'm just going to put you on the spot now. I hope you don't mind. I know you have an activity you were planning to do, but I want to throw you this burning question that I have here. I mean, when I listen, your story is so riveting, powerful, and your whole entrepreneurial journey, a little bit about your background and then also your entrepreneurial journey. What do you want people to take away from your story?
all right. Thank you so much, Rexford, first of all, for coming, and all the speakers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that for being part of this success story. And thank you for that question, Rexford. In terms of, my business journey and story, it started back in Africa when I started my business at very younger age, and then moved to the UK. And even though I couldn't just start a business when I arrived in the UK, because it's a different environment, different, setup, I started working, but the entrepreneurial spirit, is still in me, was in me, still in me, and I wanted to do something. So I tried so many things, so many, type of businesses that didn't work out. It wasn't as if they didn't work out, but I didn't have that joy, that satisfaction that I want. And what I could learn along the journey, and one of the things that prompted the Driving Your Success book is first is clarity. Most importantly, a lot of us, we want something. Probably we saw a family member doing it, a friend doing it, a colleague doing it, or we saw it on internet or on social media, and oh, I want this, I'm going to do this, without having that clarity of what we actually need. And, it's very important to establish what you want. So when I get my client coming to me, I'm like, okay, so what do you actually want? How much do you want to earn in a month? So we need to get to a point where we can clearly define what we want. And how can you get what you want? What do you need to do to get those things? And those are the things that I learned along the way. I just jumped through, like, I want to do this, I started doing it without finding out the best way to get it, the easier way to get it, and also investing time and money in anything that is good. Doesn't come so easy. We need to put a lot of hard work. We need to spend money. We need to spend time as well. We need to spend time and money in investing in our network as well, because look at people like you who are here, Paul joining from Canada, Catherine is going to be joining from Australia. Those are the wealth. There are resources that we have that we can, utilize, leverage to really get what we really want. Another thing that I also, that has helped me, as I call a learning curve, is to reflect. I'm like, just go. You know me, we've done a lot of projects together at Rexford. I'm like, you gave me a nickname sometimes, you call me patient. I'm like, when I want a thing, I'm like a bulldog. I just want it, I just go for it. I can't wait. But again, one thing I've learned recently, especially with the pandemic and so many things changing, I've learned to check every 3 months. Once I have that clarity of what I want to do, I'm checking, am I still in alignment with my goal? Am I still in alignment? Is it working? Am I getting that result? If I'm not getting it, why am I not getting that result? What can I do better? And seriously, business life is work in progress. So I continue to check and reflect and work on things and improve things. So I don't know if I've been able to answer that question.
Yes, that is fantastic. I mean, you said more than I was expecting there, but thank you, because again, you've got wealth inside of you. Yeah, I know you wanted to do, you want to read an excerpt from your book. Yeah. Do you still want to do that?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, people appreciate that. So I thought I read a part in the book that that is significant to me and that drew me to coming up with this book. And it's on, I'm going to do the first chapter, chapter 1, discover your identity. Discover your identity. So it's, I'm going to start, it's on page 21. It is of utmost importance to understand who we are indeed. The significant problem we have today is that many people don't know who they are. They cannot identify themselves or describe who they are, yet they strive for success. Meanwhile, understanding their true identity is the foundation for driving their success in life. You are in the driver's seat of your success. And to know yourself is the beginning of that success. You have the keys to your life journey, but it's also essential to clarify which keys open which doors. Such clarity comes with understanding, expressing, and pursuing your desire. Your goals and ambitions are tied to your identity. Once you understand yourself better, you will be more easily achieve what you want out of life. So most people find it difficult to express what they want out of life because they have not yet discovered, they've not yet discovered their identity. In order to discover and follow your chosen path and achieve definite results, you must first understand your motivation for doing so. So your identity is the sum of your thoughts and belief about yourself, your personality, your capabilities, your hobbies, intentions, expectations, decisions, and memories. They are your personalities. So why I choose this part to start with, I think is the foundation that we could easily miss. It's very easy for us to, want to adopt something, want to, choose a career path without knowing who we really are, what are our key strengths. Can I excel in this thing? I usually use an example of somebody who originally you don't like to smoke. It could be by religion or anything. You just hate it. You see it as immoral. Or I just use that as an example. I'm not against people who smoke. Yeah. And you're looking for a job. You're looking for more money. And you're asked to come do advertisement for cigarettes. And they're going to pay you huge money. For somebody who have that identity, who have that clarity about who they are, no matter the amount, they wouldn't go for it because it means they are doing things out of their will. They are doing things out of things that delight them, So that is why I think that part is really, really important. It's a foundation to any decision we want to make, anything we want to do within our career or business. I'm not sure if that's cover that area.
You did say quite a bit there, which I think is very useful for anybody who is listening about the whole thing about the identity. And I think that was so important because I believe that probably came from chapter 1 in there. And I think that was really good. Because if you don't really know who you are and where you want to go, then you can't really get anything started. So thank you so much for hitting on those particular points there. I also recognize that we have Catherine in the house. Yes. So I'm going to hand over to you, Favour, to do that bit.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rexford, for helping me, facilitating. And thank you, everyone. I've seen few people who have joined in. And first of all, to apologize for what happened. We're meant to, stream from LinkedIn to get wider audience. But, technology decided to show itself stronger. But, we are here now. So, it's still ongoing. So we're happy to be here. So thank you for joining and for going through that process with me. Thank you so much, Catherine, all the way from Australia. Everyone, welcome Catherine here. So Catherine is an international keynote speaker, a communicator expert, and an author. She works globally and she specializes in sales, services, and leadership. She has 25 years of experience in business training, facilitation. She believes in creating effective, engaging learning environments through powerful communication technique. I remember the last time we had a retreat here in the UK, Catherine was part of that, and we had amazing experience in terms of body language, how, every move we make in our body, how it translates into a message to a third party, to the person that is receiving it. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining. I know it's very late for you over there, but you still, you still show up. And that is so, so important. Thank you, most appreciative. And so I'm bringing Catherine here to share the keynotes, the key things, the most important points in that book that she found, interesting. So thank you, Catherine. You okay with to show your face, your camera?
Yes, can you see me?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello.
Hello. I'm over in the other side of the world. I'm a day ahead apparently, but it's actually, I think, around getting on to about 11 PM here. So obviously it went into the calendar at the wrong time. But I just want to say congratulations, first of all, on the book, Driving Your Success. And, you know, I truly believe that the title of the book is exactly what the book is about. You know, sometimes you pick up a book and you're not quite sure, but it really is about driving your success. And I don't know, has anyone here had a read of the book yet, or you're purchasing it tonight for the first time? Yeah, fantastic. So I've had a read of the book, and I just wanted to share something from it, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was fantastic when I read this. I'm just going to pop on my glasses. That perfect moment where everything aligns, where someone is showering you with invitations and everything is on your side, may well never come true. Perfect moments like this don't really exist. What does exist is this moment you're living right now. It's time to start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can to make your dreams happen. And I really, really loved that, because a lot of the times we are waiting for that perfect moment where everything comes together. And I remember being asked to do a talk in New Zealand, actually from zero to hero, because, you know, people go, oh, wow, you know, you're a success and look what's happened. And it's not like it happens overnight. You know, people see someone, they go, wow, they're successful, but they've been working at it for 25 years, right? So the book, Driving Your Success, is really what it's about in life. And, you know, you are at the steering wheel. So I think this book is fantastic for being able to give you all those tools to actually help you drive your success. And, you know, some of the things that you'll read, you'll go, yeah, I know that. But if you know it and you don't do it, then you don't really know it. And the book is really about taking action to make sure that, you know, you are that driving force, that you are driving your success. So Favour, I think you have done the world a big favour with your book and launching it, and a massive, once again, huge congratulations. And I do hope that we get to see some of these amazing people in Portugal this year to continue to drive their success as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I that part, I was going to share that part actually. That was the step that I was going to share, but I thought, you know, let me do about the identity, you know, so that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. So I'm going to move on to Rexford, who is going to share your, you know, takeaway from the book. So everyone, let me welcome Rexford. If you've been with me for a while, you'll have probably seen us. We've done a lot of projects together as well with Rexford. Rexford is a business strategist, rebranding consultant, social media influencer, personal development coach, content creator, marketer, author, and a plenary speaker. And over the past 10 years, Rexford has taught hundreds of brands and thousands of influencers on how to grow their
Favour,
influencing.
if you let me cut you there, I didn't come here to get all that.
It's all right.
That's not a profile you should be reading. That's too long.
Yeah, it's good for people to know, you know, what you do as well. So Rexford is a CEO of MediaWorks Global, and he also done a Prime Focus. He also a Spotlight program on YouTube as well. So help me welcome Rexford onto this platform.
Thank you so much, Favour, for inviting me, and also kudos to Catherine and Paul. Thank you so much. You know, when Paul came on earlier and he said he took notes from different parts of the book, I was almost besides myself here. I said, oh, so I'm not the only one who took some points in there, you know. But Favour, I've been privileged to have known you for a long time. And for anybody who doesn't know you or is going to listen to it, is listening to it, or will later watch or listen to it, you are exactly what the book is. You know, I know you and I know this is you, you know, the passion, the authenticity, the knowledge, the drive, you know, and there have been few people I have met who've been like you. But enough of that. I was wondering where I was going to speak from. I said, you know what, let the others speak because I can talk from every chapter in your book on something. But I'm going to pick something on having the sense of urgency. And I think that resonates with me a lot. One of the things I learned from you, Favour, was never to wait for perfect conditions, you know? And yeah, I'll never forget that from about 2 years or 3 years ago. And so you just go for things. And it's the same thing. You've got to be hungry for positive change. Sometimes we are not hungry now. People want to do, I mean, part of what I do is I'm a freelance university lecturer, and you meet the students. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? I want to be a CEO. I want to do this. I want to do that. But they don't want to put in the work, you know, or they're just waiting and so who told you got to wait so many years before you get certain things done? But I think being self-driven is something we all need. You can get cheerleaders around you and all that, but if you don't get up yourself and begin to start doing something, nothing is ever going to happen. And I think that tenacity is going to be important in overcoming obstacles. And as I said, that has been a good thing for me. Probably adding one more thing, also about doing a reality check. Let's not fool ourselves. If you're short in some areas, you're going to need to do the right things to help you in terms of meeting your purpose and your goals. So thank you again for all those wonderful exercises that you find in your book as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rexford. Thank you so much. I'm going to move next quickly to Paul Litwork. So I met Paul recently, actually, on a business mission, and I read about. I just went online, read a little bit more about it. I said, you know what, I'm bringing this guy to my book launch because what he does kind of resonates with what I does as well, what I believe in. I'm going to bring in here, and I like Paul, and then yeah, let's go for it, let's do it. And Paul empowers leaders to achieve and improve measurable life and business results. Based on decades of successful experience and solid human potential research, Paul has launched a Get Unstuck Now. It's a community providing world-class resources for leaders who are ready to create and improve measurable results. And I'm going to bring Paul here all the way from Canada to share, you know, his takeaway from the book, Driving Your Success. Paul, you're muted.
There we go. That sounds better when I can hear myself too. It is such a pleasure to be here, Favour. And, you know, as Rex had mentioned earlier, I had indeed taken lots of notes on a number of different things. And Catherine, one of the things that I was going to share was actually from the preface, and it was exactly the piece you shared. But what I want to do is to share the piece around that, because I think it relates as well. Let me just read for you. I took pages and pages of notes, so many things to share, but two things I'll share quickly. Number one, from the preface, you must learn how to be your own cheerleader. And I mean, just a moment ago, Rexford, you were talking about cheerleading as well. Let me just continue reading here. You don't need a fan club. Motivate yourself as if you were motivating a friend. You are the author of your own destiny. And Catherine, you read this before. Perfect moments never come. They don't really exist. What does exist in this moment you're living right now. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can to make your dream happen. Here's my takeaway, and I got pages of takeaways from each chapter, but the one that I want to focus on specifically, it also comes from the chapter 5, Sensing of Urgency, and it was talking about eliminating obstacles and deadlines. And one of the really cool things that I take away, and it's something that I share with my breakthrough clients, and it's all about deadlines. And for every deadline, there are really 3 deadlines, not one. What do I mean by that? Well, there's the crisis deadline. That's the real deadline. But before that deadline, there's the I'd like to have it by deadline. And then before that deadline, there's the walk on water deadline. So ultimately, when you think about things, only one person that we know about, we're celebrating him in Easter right now this weekend, was able to walk on water very well. Not too many other people have ever achieved that. So that's not a realistic deadline, and yet that's the one that so many people hold to. Then there's the I'd like to have it by deadline, which is, oh, I don't need until a week from Tuesday, but they give us this other situation where they have turned this off. The joys of timers. We're talking about deadlines. That was to remind me about something else. I forgot I had turned it off. So there's a perfect example of living in the real world. So 3 deadlines, my big takeaway. Ultimately recognizing that when you work towards deadlines that serve yourself, serve your family, serve your friends, serve your community, and serve our world. That's what this is really all about. Your book, Favour, brings that to light. You give lots of tremendous examples. I specifically really enjoyed page 50, chapter 2, talking about identifying your personal core values. And you give about 50 of them with 10 amazing questions. Congratulations, continued success. And for anybody who hasn't got Favour's book, get it now. There is so much good stuff in here. Thank you for inviting me today. Thank you for sharing, and all the best. Thank you, Favour.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for those keynotes. It's a good thing that this is recorded. I'm going to listen to them again. You know, sometimes when you write content and you read your content and you're like, oh, did I write this? Oh my goodness. Oh, and you know, you're learning from your own self, from your own content again. Thank you so much for everything you've shared from that book. They're actually like kind of a reminder, even to me and to other people who are on the platform and people who will be watching this later on. You know, sometimes we think we know it, I'm doing it, but a reminder sometimes make a difference. Thank you so much. So, right, what are we doing next? Right.
Ask me anything. Okay. Favour, do you want me to throw some questions that I had gotten? I had 1 or 2 of my own. Then there were a couple of others too, a couple more. And by the way, for those of you who are just joining us, if you got any questions, this is a great time to drop them in. Just put them in the chat or drop them to me, Rexford, and then I'll present it to Favour.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, kind of.
I think if you don't mind me telling this usual joke to your audience, that I've always said you can wake up Favour 3 a.m. in the morning and she can just start talking about business, you know, so she's just got it in her. So let me just throw the first one. I know Paul had picked a bit on that. Core values. I know this means a lot to you. Would you say it's an inherent part of running a successful business? And if so, why?
Yes, thank you for that question. And you know, one of the posts I did recently, I shared, and even in this the welcome video, when you get to the book page, I was going to put the book link on the thing for anybody who wants to pick a copy now, actually. So it took me 4 decades of my life to actually find my own purpose, to actually, you know, find what I'm in this world for, rather than what I've thought it was. And one of the key things that helps me in defining my purpose, and not just defining it, working on it, is knowing my core values. So understanding the core values, when I went into the journey of self-discovery, and I'm like, core value, how important it is. What does it got to do with me fulfilling my purpose? But after more in-depth, you know, into my self-discovery, I found out that that is one of the key things for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve in life. Everything we think, everything we feel, every actions we take is as a result of our values. So it's about what we care about most in this world. So they are the things that gives us sense of satisfaction, you know, and when you look at it, they translate into our business or career. So when you're taking a decision, you're taking a decision because of your why. Most likely, there's something behind the back of your mind that you're taking that decision on. So when people come for coaching and I'm like, why do you want a business? I want money. I want more money. I want more time. I say, I know that. Everyone wants that. But there's something else you want. And yeah, that's what I want. Not really. But when you're beginning to drill down, you now hear something like, I want to make a difference. I want to build a legacy for my children, for the world to see. What kind of legacy? Then they start opening up. When you now to drill down again into that self-discovery and self-identity, you find out that why, what they want to become, it's also linked to their core values. It's either they are these people who enjoy to help people. They love helping, but they didn't really see it as, a core value. They didn't really see it as one of the reasons they're in this world. Or how do I do that actually? How can I help when I don't have money? But during that journey, they find out that you actually don't need money to help. You actually don't need money to deliver your purpose in this life. So the core value there is like, when you look at it into business, translate into business, it's like talking about your personal branding. It is what is important to you. And how is that thing important to your audience, your customers? That thing that motivates you, there are a group of people out there, bunch of people out there that feel the same way, that thing is also important to them. So you build your personal brand based on your values. And apparently, your value doesn't have to match with everyone in the world. It's only just a group of people. And that is why where you can work on that, identify them, now improve them, connect them to your purpose in this world, it just works perfectly well. Though you're doing what you really enjoy, what is true to you, and also fulfilling your purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for elaborating on that particular point there. I'm just going to throw one more question since you decided to make me a facilitator. I'm just seizing that opportunity to throw in my own questions. Just one more very quickly, and I have about 3 questions that have come in. You devote a whole chapter to taking responsibility. It must be a very important subject. Why is this the case?
Right. That question is very key and very interesting, very personal to me, because when I see people around me and they're like, it's not working, I have a problem, I have a challenge. Yes, I'm from a minority group, I don't speak English is not my first language, or I'm from single parents, I lost my mom when I was this. And when I hear all these things, and I'm like, that is not a problem. That is not a problem. Those are just excuses. And some people feel that I'm too harsh. And I thought, everything we want to become in this life, anything we want to do, we wish to do, we can actually do it. We can actually do it. The only reason we will not be able to do it is if we push the responsibility away from us. Because it's only us who knows what we want to do. It's only us who knows where we are going. It's only me who know my vision, who know my mission. Nobody else, not even my dad, not even my sister, not even my husband, not my children. Only me knows what I want. So only me can drive my own success by taking responsibility. Awesome. And the moment we can take that whole responsibility, be accountable for ourselves. So, simple example. If I go to work, I'm meant to get to work at 8 a.m. and I get to work at 8:30 and I get summoned or I get queried, it's my responsibility. It's possible I missed the train. It's possible the train was delayed. It is not the fault of train driver. It is not the fact that I have kids that I'm feeding in the morning. I have to do school run. I have to do all that. I already know that I have to get to school at 8 a.m. I already know that there could be problems with the trains. So this is the way I look at it. And the more we can assume that responsibility and say, hey, whatever happened is my fault. I am to be blamed. If I'm in a relationship that I'm not happy with, rather than complaining, it's my responsibility. I'm not happy there. I'm still stuck there. It's my responsibility. So I think if all of us, many of us, rather than even sometimes blaming the government, rather than blaming the society that we have, rather than blaming our parents, yeah, if my parents had sent me to the university, I would have been far above here. Well, you still have something you can work on. Work on what you have now. Use it to get what you want. It might not be overnight. It might take time, but you still get there. But you know that you are the driver and you are in control.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Yeah, I like Paul's thumbs up to you there. Awesome.
And
Awesome.
I'd love to say, ask something here too, Favour.
Right.
Yeah.
Page 24 in your book, this is one of my favourites, which was the iceberg model.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this is a great tool. Like, I loved how you then gave a really good demonstration. Because I think what happens a lot of the times, there is that advance, but it's that pattern. People don't take the time to reflect to see what doesn't go right. And there's generally this pattern that they need to understand. So being able to use this model and break it down there and create some of their own examples. So I'm going to pass it on to my husband. It is so important to identify those patterns, because if you don't identify the patterns, then it's something that constantly will happen in your life. And like you said, you probably don't even take responsibility for it. So I really love that. I think that's going to be a great tool for many people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Catherine. Actually, I put that one down. I highlighted it if you have enough time, that is another aspect that I would have loved to go through quickly as well with the audience.
Right.
Okay. Let me throw.
I just jump on that one for one quick sec, because it was so beautifully put just now, Catherine. The idea behind what you were just talking about refers back to what I was saying before about deadlines. And Favour, you talked specifically about in chapter 5 about having a gratitude journal. One of the really important things about life is recognizing the good that is. And, it's interesting. How often do we miss out on those opportunities? We were talking earlier about the deadlines. Well, the crisis deadline is when it's actually happening. Eckhart Tolle wrote his famous book, The Power of Now, being mindful, being present. All of this is all about what are we noticing about now that we can be grateful for, so that we can refer back to it later in exactly the times that we've talked about when things aren't going as well as we thought that they might. Having something like that handy and available. What a beautiful idea that was. Thanks, Favour.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul, for that. Thank you.
Okay, well, this is exciting. I mean, just from what Catherine and Paul have said, I mean, they epitomize a lot of the things that I'm sure our audience would want to ask or experience for themselves. Doing things differently is something here. Do not be stuck in a particular mode of thinking. is it important to reflect on what we are doing to re-strategize if things are, you keep hitting your head against the wall? What's the difference between persistence and doing things differently?
Well, I thank you for that, Rexford. I think for me there, it's about the world is changing, constantly. So our customers' needs are changing. I'm sorry to be focusing on customer or business this time around. We can also look at it from the points of people who work. So your organization that you are, the system they used 3 years ago, they are upgrading it or they are changing it, they are implementing new system. Things are changing. So if you started that role at the point where they were using what was the IBM computing, and now they are using Office 365, and you are like, no, that is what I've known, that is what I'm used to, then you're about to be kicked out of your job. And if you're running a business and you still doing the traditional way of advertising, you still continue to print leaflets, and you believing that this is the highest I can do, you're just going to be wasting your time and money. So doing things differently there is to look at the change that is happening around you. It's very, very important to continue to educate ourselves, to also learn about our industries, even within career level. Find a mentor that is already at the top, that knows what is happening at the top, because it comes from the top to the bottom, right? And even if you're at the bottom, if you work with people, you get a mentor, you get a coach who is at the top, they can tell you what is happening. And by the time you're utilizing the information you have at the level you are, you will be the champion over there all the time, because you keep updating your knowledge on what you have. And I mean, even though I'm a coach, I'm a business coach, I have coaches, no, not just coaches around the world. I have coaches in different aspects of my business, even in my career. And I continue to educate myself. I continue to read and study, join webinars, join sessions. And so it means we want to work that way. We want to improve the knowledge that we've gained. We want to renew those knowledge. And in terms of, doing it differently, that does not mean as a brand, you're not maintaining consistency. So that consistency in terms of business is still there. We talked about identity earlier on. So if we got to a point where we are very clear with our identity, it will have nothing to do with your consistent output, because you are what you say you are. If your identity is about innovation, that's who you are. The only thing that they will see, you're still innovating, you're still transforming, but you're doing it on another level. You're doing it, you fit into the new generation, you fit into the new system, you fit into your customers' needs. Before pandemics, majority of people don't know how to use Zoom. So you can imagine if things suddenly change and then your business cannot operate because things change. You see, for the fact that you move from face-to-face to using virtual or Zoom does not change your brand identity. It just shows that you've upgraded, you're moving along, and you're still relevant.
Excellent illustration there with the Zoom, since we're all on Zoom now. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sure if we have time to go to another question, because there are loads of questions, but or maybe to move to the next session. What do you think?
I don't know if anyone on the Zoom have any question. I was checking the Facebook earlier on whether anybody, I can't see the live thing there. So I don't know if anybody have any question. If they can post it in, that would be great.
I've got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Favour, you've come from nothing and have created such a wonderful situation for yourself and for your clients and for our world. Tell us, what is it that makes Favour, that got you through all of this? Because yes, you wrote a book about it. Yes, you've talked so well about it, but let's hear it from you. Favour, you've come from nothing and have become so great and are sharing so much with our world. You know, I wish you continued success, but I want to hear it from you. What drives you?
I love that question. I love it, and it makes me almost emotional. And thank you. You know, I think it's all still boiled down to our identity, who you really want to be, and also living a fulfilled life. When I relocated to the UK from Nigeria, I mean, I had a business in Nigeria that was doing well, but when I relocated to the UK, I started from the scratch all over again. I had member of staff in Nigeria with my business, but when I moved to the UK, my first job was actually, what's it called? I was collecting donation. No, actually, I was collecting donations. I was working with a charity. We will go raise fundraising, door to door. Actually, it's not just fundraising, door to door fundraising. So after whatever we collect, they gave us some percentage. And the next job I got was a retail job. But I tell you what, I've always wanted a particular lifestyle. I've always wanted where I can add value to my environment, to my community. I've always love to help people, but I never knew how. So I was ready to work so hard so I can make more money, so I can help people, so that I could be giving them money. Here is money. You want to go to school? Hey, pay your school fees. Here is money. You want to build a business? So I thought that was the only way I could help. I wanted to add value. I think that is one thing, and that was what I was talking about. Identifying who we are, connecting it to who we want to become in life, our life purpose. And that is the main thing. That is what drives me. So each time I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what are people lacking in business? What is holding people down? What held me down? I bet this thing that held me down is holding other people down. What can I do? How can I help? How can I add value? Before I go to bed is in my head. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create this content that will help them to do. I could ask question. If I do this, will it help you? Yeah. And so every day, every night, I'm thinking about how I can add value. I'm thinking about how I can leave a mark so that I wouldn't just come through this world and just go like that. Leave something that could, add value to people around me. Not just giving them money. Actually, as I was on like what I was thinking before, because when I give them that money, they will spend it and it will return them to where they were before. So I think that is the motivation of who I want to become. How do I fulfill my purpose? That is what keeps me driving.
Excellent question from Paul there. Thank Paul. I don't know if he's dropped off, but that's a great question. Favour, do you want us to go to the next bit now?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
So hold on. Right.
Okay. Right now, Favour has got this fantastic book that's out there. I mean, you've heard Paul talk about the wonderful things. I read a bit about the profiles of all these eminent persons sharing the guest stage with me, and Catherine, of course, I'd heard a lot about from Favour's event last year, and by the way, joined the event as well in this year, but it's going to be international in Portugal, so please join as well. This is a fantastic book. Take it from me. I have read this book. I've put out my review already on Amazon and all that. But you need to get this book. But I'm giving you the opportunity to make history, Be the first on the, yeah, some of you may have gotten it already. That's great. Thank you for supporting even before the launch. But for those of you who are here, just for a limited time today, please, in fact, right now, there's a link there. We'll put up the QR code as well in a minute. If you can go support this book, just make it whatever you want to donate. There's a minimum donation, of course, but just anything of the minimum or over above the minimum amount, please do that. And maybe to put it in a different way, be a blessing as well, as she's talking about helping other people use this, because I know part of Favour, if I'm right, and part of this is going to go into not just helping other women become successful and all that, but also helping a charity.
Yeah, it's going
Right.
to Eleanor charity in Kent, Gravesend, Kent.
Okay.
Yeah, 5% of it, the profit is going to them.
Right. Favour has just put the link in the chat so you can copy it directly. If you don't have your phone to do a scan quickly, you can just go there. And as I said, give anything over and above the amount which is stated there. It's your donation. It's your belief in what she's doing. It's your seed you're sowing into impacting the lives of the people that need to be impacted. So please take that scan very quickly, and or take the link that has been put in the chat, and let's make this premium purchase a reality. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for doing so. I believe those whose names get added would also go on to the next bit, wouldn't it? It'll go on to your.
Yes, it will go on to the price draw as well.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. So, although that's a good incentive as well. Yeah, that's a good incentive for anybody who is joining us.
Yeah. So I think in that case we might be doing the price draw and at the end, or Instagram.
Yes, I mean, please join and please put in the details you need to put in as well. Be part of this history making thing. Tomorrow you would hear, oh yeah, I was at that event, or I purchased that book on that day. And so let's make today very special. I know it's probably gone into the new day in Australia, but we're still on in the 10th of April here. So please let's make it happen, everybody. Let's make it happen. Make this premium purchase of the book. Even if you've got a copy, you can always give. Right, I forgot. Favour, I owe you an apology. I forgot to tell them one of the reasons why it's premium. This is a signed copy. Right, it's a signed copy of the book. This you're going to get directly from her in her own handwriting. You know, that's $1 million handwriting, so you're going to get that as well. So please make sure you go for it. Yeah, the link is in the chat, or you can use the QR code. Just scan it. Thank you, everybody. Okay, whilst you're doing that, Favour, if you don't mind, I don't want to throw things out of line from what you did. I just still wanted to throw in one more question, just to give people time to do this. Is that okay? Or do you want us to leave it for the next session?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, right. And let me just throw this in. Towards the end of your book, you mentioned 3 specific things, 3 lacks: lack of clarity. I know you've touched on that. Lack of vision, lack of focus. How are they linked? Clarity, vision, focus. Because sometimes you get people who are like, oh God, I've got a lot going on, and I've got that, and I've got that. And I know you touch on the clarity bit, but how does the vision and the focus also come into the picture?
Thank you so much for that question. And yeah, you're very right. I think since the pandemic, I hear this a lot of time. I have a lot going on. And I tell you, first, before I share the answer that I go into the answer. I myself in the 2022, just before the first quarter of 2022, I mean, I set my goals well in advance and all that. As far as I'm concerned, by October, the year is ended for me, and I'm already planning for the coming year. And just before the end of the first quarter in 2020, I'm like, oh, let me have a look. What is going on? And it's like the year I haven't started. I couldn't see anything I've done for the first 3 months. And I'm like, what is going on here? What did I do wrong? And I went back to see the goals that I've set. I realized that the goals that I set wasn't realistic enough. And I didn't make it smart. There was no way for me to really see, to measure what I've done from where I was coming from. So I had to like go back to the drawing board and, refocus again and get started again. And before I did that check, what prompted me to do that check was that I noticed that, I could grab my laptop. I was meant to do something, I'm doing something else. I was, I felt I was losing focus. And what I found is that when we lose focus, there is no other reason. There might be, I have experts in the house, but to me, when I lack focus, it's just one thing. I wasn't sure about what I wanted. There is no vision. There is no vision. It's just like, the wind is blowing, and when you don't have a direction, it just take you anywhere. If you're going on a trip, you have a sat nav in your car that is working perfectly, but you're going to visit a friend in central London, for instance. He lives somewhere, North London, for instance, but you don't have the details of the postcode and everything, but you have your sat nav and you want to go and visit your friends. You can imagine what is going to happen in the way. You're going to jump the lights while you're looking and trying to figure out, where is his house? Where the hell is the house? You're going to jump the lights. You're going to overspeed. So many things is going to happen onto you. You're going to bump your head on something. And the worst thing is that you might never get there. Unlike when you have a vision, I know where I'm going. I have the postcode. It's giving me a time to arrive there. I know what we're going to do when we get there. It's different. You're working with time. You're working with the address. You're working with all those details to help you achieve your day or whatever it is. Now, you talked about vision and clarity. So that clarity, your vision can only come when you have clarity. We talked about that earlier on, about identity and all that. Once you have that identity cleared, then you can create a vision. You can write a vision. And a vision is not just like a goal. That is where you're going. So it means you build your day-to-day to get to your vision. Your day-to-day activities, your daily activities, your hourly activities, they are built on your vision. So everything you do every day, they are towards your vision. So you can imagine, if there's no vision, where are you going to go? And if there's no clarity, how can you build a vision? But if these things are in place, we are focused. We know what we are dealing with. Even when adversity comes, we can stand because we know that we can still get to where we are going to. So it means we are in charge. We can control the car, the wheel, because we know where we're going.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that enlightenment and linking them up so beautifully. Okay, great. Let's see. I see some stuff in the chat. Let's see if anything else has come in. Oh, okay. No, those are just what you put in there in terms of the links.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've given people enough time on this part now, so we can come to is there something else you wanted to do before the prize draw?
Yeah, I think quickly, if I could just, if you permit me, I was going to share quickly on right, we're meant to do the price draw now, I think. But I was going to use that time to quickly go on the, I think it was Paul who talked about the iceberg model earlier on. Catherine. Yeah. So I thought if I could.
Yeah, go for it.
Go quickly on it.
Those were important steps. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, right. The next thing will have been the price draw. I just, my assistant just sent me some updated list,
okay.
which to add to this. So I think we could take this one to Instagram. So by then I will have added this list.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're on this call and you've just purchased your book in the past, say in the past 4 days or so, you would like to join the Instagram to see if you're one of the lucky winners. So we're going to be doing the prize draw there. Quickly, I just wanted to, mention this quickly, because what I've found is that when we talked about taking responsibilities and we blaming environment, we blaming things happening, and I use this illustration of iceberg to show that the things that happen to us, not just us, the people that we work with, maybe our partners, our colleagues at work, we see them do things. We look at it from the top, like the iceberg model shows that what we see is 10% of the ice. But deep down in the water, there are loads of ice there that we can't see. So it makes us to look at things from mental model. So it makes us to look at it from what happened, especially when you have reoccurring incidents that happens to you from time to time, whether within your family, and you know that this thing happened and you're wondering, why is this happening? Me coming from Africa, when these things like this happen, we and especially if you're from faith background, we're like, we call it like generational curses, kind of, the feel is spiritual. When things happen to you all the time, it happens in the family, they see it as spiritual. It could be anything. They say, oh, some family, they don't get married on time and things like that. And this, I'll break it down. So if you get the book, this is available, the workbook is available for you to actually kind of walk through that workbook to look at the events in your lives that is happening. Then look at the patterns. The pattern is how those events happen, how they become, the event is one of things that you normally do that, but it becomes a pattern. When it's become repetitive, it will reoccur again and again. So this model is telling you that what happened to you as a pattern, something is making it to happen, and that is a structure. Structure allows the pattern to exist, to make it there. Is the process, is the rule, is the system. And most importantly, the structure is, it could be the system. It could be the rules that the government have put together. And the people, unfortunately, who created the structure, they created the structure based on what happened then, based on what they know. It could be based on, what happened to a particular geographical area. So you can imagine if we now allow that, we embrace that to rule our own life. So this workbook helps you to now go further to look at your mental model to see, how can I change things around? What is your own current attitude to this structure? Are they working for you? So what is that the blueprint that is created? What is the script that even you or your family members have created about you? Do you have a script that, as a woman, I can only be a teacher, I can only be a nurse? Or do you have a script that says that, if I don't get married, I can't be successful, I can't achieve my success, my purpose in life? Do you have such scripts? So you now want to use that. And again, this is where your core value comes in. What is your core values against this structure? If there's a script that says any children that is brought up within council houses they don't amount to anything. That is the structure, that is the script. What is your own core value saying? What is your own belief saying? And how can you flip things around? So how you can flip things around, how you can make your new belief system, how you can create your new belief system, how you can change your script and rewrite your script. If you can't get rid of the blueprint, you can get rid of the blueprint. You don't have to adopt the blueprint. You can get rid of it, or you change your life. How you can do this, everything is well written and illustrated in the book. So I think that is another good takeaway for me as well in this book.
Awesome.
And yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that is it from me, except anyone want to add anything?
Well, Favour, I wanted just to say for myself that this has been experience for me in itself. I love reading books, but your book was so informative. And so it made me angry with myself in a couple of parts,